The train hissed like a dying serpent, steam curling around my ankles. My knees buckled the instant my boots touched the warped platform of Laramie, Wyoming. Dust coated my tongue thick as regret. My right sleeve hung in ribbons, the lace my mother stitched now stained rust brown. Flashback. 3 nights ago, somewhere west of Omaha, a whiskey-soaked drummer had pinned me against the rattling wall of the sleeper car. His fingers clawed under my skirt, tearing fabric and skin alike. I'd driven my hat pin through his ear. Blood had sprayed warm across my cheek. The conductor dragged him off, but the damage was done. I'd arrived broken. A shadow detached itself from the station wall. Broad shoulders, limp favoring the left leg. A scar slicing through his left cheek like a lightning bolt frozen mid-flash. He didn't speak, just said my name, low and certain. Miss Eleanor Whitcomb? I managed a nod. He shrugged out of his duster, the scent of tobacco, horse, and sun-baked leather rolling over me. The coat settled heavy on my shoulders, still holding the heat of his body. My pulse, frantic as a trapped bird, slowed against that warmth. He lifted me into the wagon as if I weighed less than a sack of feed. The bench creaked. He flicked the reins and the team lurched forward. Soil here's 11 inches deep, he rumbled, eyes on the horizon. Best you'll find west of the Mississippi. Heat flooded my face. 11 inches. My mind, traitorous, starved for kindness, pictured something far less agricultural. A gravelly chuckle rolled from his chest, thunder far off across the plains. Easy, Boston. I meant the topsoil. But the seed was planted. Weeks blurred into calluses and sunsets. Dawn milking. The cow's udder warm and veined like riverstone. His hands, rough, sun-darkened, knuckles scarred from bronc rains, closed over mine. Squeeze, don't yank, he murmured. His thumbs brushed the soft skin inside my wrists, lingering. Milk hissed into the pail, steady as a heartbeat. Midday woodpile. Axe rose and fell, shirtless torso gleaming. Sweat traced the canyon of his spine, pooling at the waistband of denim gone pale at the seams. Each blow rang like a blacksmith's hammer. I hauled splits, arms burning, eyes unable to leave the flecks of muscle under scar-crossed skin. Afternoon rifle lessons. He molded me to the Winchester. Breathe out, squeeze gentle. His chest flushed to my back, breath stirring the fine hairs at my nape. The barrel trembled. His hand steadied mine, calluses scraping tender. Powder smoke curled between us like incense. Nights were worse. Nightmares dragged me screaming from sleep, drunken hands ripping lace. I'd wake gasping. He'd appear in the doorway, silhouette rimmed by firelight, tin mug steaming. Never asked what I saw, just sat on the floorboards, back against my bed frame until my sobs ebbed into the crackle of pine logs. One evening I burned the beans. They tasted of scorched boot leather. He ate 3 helpings, humming off-key. Oh, Susanna, in a baritone that rattled the window panes. Laughter bubbled out of me, startling us both. Touches lengthened. His fingertips grazed the small of my back when he reached past me for the coffee pot. A thumb brushed flour from my cheek, lingering a heartbeat too long. Each contact sparked, flint on steel, until the air between us felt charged as storm clouds. I began to crave the scrape of his beard shadow against my throat the way parched earth craves rain. I found the grave at twilight, small cross, name weathered, Jasper McAllister, beloved brother. A locket lay half buried in dust. Inside, a younger version of the man who draped his coat over me, same eyes, softer mouth. That night I waited under the stars, shotgun across my lap. He limped from the barn, paused at the sight of the open locket. You lied. My voice cracked like the drought-split earth. He exhaled, slow. Jasper wrote the letters. Dreamed of a wife, children, green fields. Consumption took him last winter. I buried his dream with him. His gaze dropped. Didn't figure a woman'd come for a cripple twice her age. Silence stretched thin as the creek. Weeks without rain. The well-coughed mud. Neighboring ranchers, Harlan brothers, dammed the creek over a 20-year-old debt. Corn withered to brittle spears. He sat on the porch steps, head in hands. I knelt, took the axe from his limp fingers. Dig deeper. We trenched at dawn. Shovels bit into clay baked iron hard. My palms blistered. Blood spotted the handle. Sweat plastered my dress to my breasts, my thighs. His shirt clung translucent, outlining every ridge of muscle. When our shovels clanged together, the jolt shot straight between my legs. Accidental brushes became deliberate. His knuckles grazed my nipple through wet cotton. My hip rolled against his groin, feeling him harden. We didn't speak, just breathed dust and desire until the sun bled out behind the mountains. Thunder cracked the sky open. Rain slashed sideways, drumming the tin roof like 1,000 frantic heartbeats. Inside the cabin, firelight licked over rough-hewn walls. Eleanor's voice cut through the roar. "Show me the man in those letters." Caleb's eyes, storm gray, locked on hers. He crossed the room in 2 limping strides, cupped her face with hands that trembled. His mouth claimed hers, slow, deliberate, tasting coffee and desperation. She moaned into him, fingers clawing his shirt buttons. Fabric tore. Buttons pinged across floorboards. He knelt. Calloused palms slid up her calves, pushing damp skirts higher. The bruise on her upper arm, purple remnant of the train, drew his lips. He kissed it reverent as prayer, tongue tracing the mark until it faded beneath new heat. She threaded fingers through his silver-streaked hair, guiding him lower. He hooked her knees over his shoulders, mouth finding the slick seam of her. Slow, worshipful laps, tongue circling her clit with the patience he'd shown, teaching her to milk, to shoot, to dig. She arched, spine bowing off the bearskin rug, thunder masking her cries. He slid 2 fingers inside, curling, stroking that secret spot until she shattered, hips bucking, inner walls pulsing around him. Rising, he shucked denim. His cock jutted thick, veined, 11 inches of rigid proof. She laughed through tears, snatched the cloth tape from the mantel. Exactly 11. "No metaphor," she gasped. He laid her back on the rug, bearskin soft against her spine. Their eyes locked. Consent passed wordless, electric. He nudged her entrance, paused. She hooked ankles at his waist, pulled. He sank in, 1 inexorable inch at a time until their hips met flush. She gasped at the stretch, the impossible fullness. Thunder rolled. He withdrew, surged forward. Again. Again. Each thrust deliberate, syncing with the storm's rhythm. Rain-lashed windows. Sweat-slicked skin. Her breasts bounced with every impact. Nipples grazing the coarse hair of his chest. She pushed at his shoulders. He rolled, taking her with him. Straddling, she sank down, taking every inch until he bottomed out against her womb. She rode him like breaking a stallion, hips rolling, grinding, claiming. His hands gripped her waist, thumbs tracing the flare of her hips. Lightning strobes lit their joined bodies. Her pale thighs spread over his sun-darkened ones. His cock disappearing into her glistening heat. She leaned forward, breasts swaying, and whispered against his mouth. "Give me the full 11 inches. He groaned, flipped her again. Hooked her knees over his elbows and drove deep. The rug burned her shoulder blades. She didn't care. Orgasm coiled tight, snapped. She convulsed around him, milking him until he followed. Hot pulses flooding her, his roar lost in thunder. Aftershocks rippled. He stayed inside her, softening slowly. Rain softened to a lullaby on the roof. "My wife died birthing our daughter," he confessed into her hair, stillborn. "Jasper's letters, they became mine the moment you stepped off that train." She kissed the scar on his cheek. "The land's not the only thing that needed rain." Dawn painted the field silver. Rain had fallen steady through the night. The creek ran bankful. Corn lifted green faces to the sky. They rode into town together, her rifle across her lap, his hand steady over hers on the reins. Harlan brothers waited by the dam, shotguns slack. Caleb's voice cut clean. "Water flows free, or lead does." Eleanor cocked the Winchester. The click echoed. The dam timbers cracked under axe blows before noon. Months later, her belly rounded beneath a new calico dress. They stood on the porch, his palms spread over the swell. Corn stretched gold to the horizon, heavy with promise. She leaned into him, breathed in tobacco, leather, and the sweet scent of turned earth after rain.
"Think we'll need 11 inches of topsoil for the nursery?"
His laugh rumbled, Thunder remembered. "Reckon we'll manage."